Hello Capricorn, welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of April 9th through 15th. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. All right. Now this is going to be a general reading and we're just going to jump right in. We're not going to waste any time. There's that Cancer person in your life again. It's a Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups really could be an aspect of yourself. But I feel like the Knight of Cups is talking about a water sign person in your life. I think we've had a Cancer person in your readings pretty often in the last few months. But I think what's going on here is this card's showing up to tell me something about you. Okay? And I think that whenever this Cancer person or water sign person comes to you with their kind of hat in their hand, right? With their heart in their hat, or I don't know the expression. When they come to you with kind of an apology, or they come to kind of, ask for your forgiveness or something, I feel like you're very accepting. I feel like you're a very forgiving person. Very forgiving. And we know that just through all of these interactions that you've had with the air person in your readings as well, the last couple of months, I think. But usually the trouble doesn't ever really involve this water sign person. The water sign person is usually very supportive of you. It's usually the person that kind of always has your back. When their two cards just jumped out. These might be significant. So let's look at that. We also have what jumped out of the deck here is the Prince of Wands. Okay. But let's go back to, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's do the mystery card. All right. Let's do one card, mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, and we'll just do that one card. We're not going to look at that until the end, yada, yada. It'll tie everything together. It'll be our confirmation. All right. So now, where were we? The Knight of Cups. So whenever this person comes to you kind of asking your forgiveness, you are there with open arms, right? You're very forgiving. And I don't know, maybe this week, this Cancer person, this water person is going to do something that they should apologize for, right? And I don't think it's anything major. We'll see as we go through the reading. I don't know that that's the purpose of the card here, though, okay? I think this card is trying to demonstrate to us that you might be too willing to forgive people. You might be a little bit too flexible, a little bit too adaptive, a little bit too forgiving, right? So I think whatever this Cancer sign person has done, they're going to just come and say, hey, I'm sorry, and you're going to say, it's fine, come on, let's go. And that's fine, that's not a big deal. But I think what that represents is just one example of maybe 1,000 examples of you just, taking somebody back in, accepting their apology, and that's the end of it, right? But what we see that kind of jumped out at us is the Prince of Wands. This is a little bit more of a heated thing. This is a little bit more of something, because look, we've got fire and water, right? Fire and water do not get along. Do not get along. Fire and water cause more trouble than oil and water, right? Oil and water just kind of separate. They go to their own rooms. They don't talk. Fire and water, though, they're fighting it out, right? Chaos. It's a mess, right? So I feel like this week is something more, a little bit more serious, right? I think this is something that is kind of bordering on egregious, It's something that no reasonable person would say, oh, it's not a big deal, it's okay. You know what I mean? So it's almost as if you are being, your ability to forgive is being tested, right? Is this something that you are going to just kind of bend to, just kind of roll over and accept? Or is this your limit? Is this the boundary of things? And speaking of that, we have the Two of Wands underneath everything. So this is kind of a card that's asking, where do you draw the line? You know? And I want to say we've had this conversation before, Capricorn. Okay? Because I feel like it's something that comes up quite often, is you starting to stand up for yourself and starting to kind of dial up the confidence, right? And then something comes along that sets you back. You know, something, usually it's the air sign person. It's interesting though that with the water and the fire, what does that create? Air, steam, right? So I wonder if this situation with the Cancer person is not creating in you a little bit of self-reflection. You know, I wonder if you're kind of going back over the many situations with that air sign person and regretting some of your actions, some of your non-actions. You know what I mean? It could almost be a regret that you didn't do more, that you didn't, stand up for yourself even more. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, the Two of Wands, that's telling me that you are beginning to ask yourself, where are your boundaries? What are your limits, right? It almost feels like, this is your house, this is your business, this is your life, this is your environment. Where do you draw the line? Where do you have your boundaries? This is your domain, right? And the Two of Wands, the key word for this card is dominion. These are the things that you rule over. This is you asking yourself, am I really in charge here? Am I in charge not only maybe of the house or the business or the whatever? Am I in charge of myself? Am I in charge of my own life? Do I have the fundamental right as a human being to draw my own boundaries, make my own borders, right? And I think these are questions that you're beginning to have, or that you've been having for a while, but I think that they are getting louder, a little bit more prominent this week, okay? And again, I think it's just through this kind of minor thing with that Cancer person. Maybe they just left the toilet seat up, or didn't wash the dishes or something. And it's a minor thing, but it's just kind of one more example of how tolerant you are, right? How forgiving you are. But I think it's accumulating, right? I think it's starting to build up. I'm kind of worried we're going to have a tower moment here somewhere. I'm not trying to invoke that kind of energy, because I want to see this be dealt with before it reaches that boiling point. Let's look at the recent past. Hermit energy. The Hermit energy here is, first thing that comes to my mind is you're not taking enough time for yourself. I'm kind of feeling a reversal of the Hermit energy. If I read reversals, this card would be upside down, right? Because I'm feeling like you don't have enough time for yourself. I think in the recent past you probably did. There's the air. The air just wanted to be heard today, okay? Wanted to come out. There's the air energy. I knew it would be here somewhere. But we'll just flip that over for now. We'll get to you later. The Hermit. I feel like recently you did take time for yourself, but it was kind of like it was something that you had to plan, something that you had to schedule, get permission, make sure everybody else was okay. And probably while you were gone, you still had to do things for other people. You still had to either check in, or you still had to order stuff on Amazon or make a phone call, or I don't think you were really able to disconnect. I don't think you were, and I almost wonder, last week, did we have a reading about you going on your own kind of vacation, your own kind of spiritual vacation, right? I think we did. And I think the Hermit was there too. I think the Hermit might have been in the immediate future. Now we have the Hermit in the immediate past. So I like that kind of connection. What I don't like is this feeling I'm getting that you didn't really take full advantage of that. You know, that you didn't fully disconnect. That you were still fulfilling your role, your responsibilities, your obligations to everyone else when you were supposed to be kind of isolating, meditating, retreating, retiring temporarily to recharge, to, commune, to get in touch. So I don't know how successful that journey was with you. I think if anything, at least we could say that it got this Two of Wands questioning started, right? Maybe it initiated this where you at least, maybe because of your inability to disconnect or your inability to really like turn off your phone, for a day or a few hours or something. Maybe that fact got you thinking like, wow, I really don't have any autonomy. I really don't have any control over my life or my existence, let alone your kind of day-to-day routines or the actions, the responsibilities. And then, of course, maybe you arrive back home or things return to their normal routine, and then your Cancer person says, hey, don't freak out, but, whatever, I don't know, something terrible, right? I killed the flowers, or, I lost the dog or something, I don't know, something terrible. And so it's just one more, it's just like an icing on a really rotten cake, And not only that, but we got this air sign person back. We got this air energy back in the mix. And I think a lot of this has to do, like I said, with the vertical component of the path of the dove. We have what's underneath everything and then kind of what's at the top of your mind. So I feel like you are spending a lot of time regretting how you handled that air sign situation. I don't know if they're back in the picture. I don't think so. Because this is vertical, right? Our horizontal world we're already talking about. I think we're supposed to take some time for yourself, but I don't think you took full advantage of it. You come home to these petty little, crises. I don't know how to say that word. And it just is kind of building this frustration. And all the while, you're still thinking, I wish I would have handled it differently with that air sign person. It's almost like you feel like you didn't do it, you didn't do enough, right? That even though it seems like they're out of your life, even though it seems like things are resolved, you still wish you would have maybe stood up for yourself more, right? Had some more firm boundaries and borders and limits. Not let them encroach as much as they did on your borders, So I feel like that's kind of like a regret. It's kind of but it's not just about that situation specifically. It's about what it implies, that you have this need to be more firm with people in your life, Let's see what the way forward is. Let's see what's going on in the future. Let's see what the way forward is, right? Not what the future looks like, because I think we'll get to that on the path of the serpent, but how do we get there? How do we make the transition? What's the first kind of step that we need to take? Make sure we have, oh God. I didn't do that on purpose, I promise you. There's the tower moment. I knew that was going to be there. Can I just turn the camera off now and we could just end it here? I don't want to move on. I don't want to go forward from this. I feel like things are kind of creeping up to this, and this was really just a freaking out, just a letting loose, just an explosion of all of this pent up frustration, right? I don't feel like you're an angry person. I feel like you're a very gentle person. And I think that's sometimes a disadvantage to you. I think you're a very kind person, but does that make you a little bit of a pushover, of a doormat, So maybe maybe the Tower energy here is saying, look, you need to sometimes be an asshole, you know? I mean, sorry to, you know, pardon my French or whatever they say. But that's sometimes the reality of it. Like, there is such a thing as being too nice, too kind, too forgiving, too flexible, right? Especially when it starts to encroach on your borders, on your boundaries, on your kind of inner sanctuary, right? I remember one of the first readings that I did for you when I started this channel, maybe almost a year ago now. We talked a lot about that sun energy, about how people in your life have always kind of encouraged you, I guess, to dial it down, to not be so loud, to dim your shine, right? To turn your light down a little bit. You know, you're too bright, you're too loud, you're too whatever, you know? And I still feel like that is a major influence on your life, because I think that's something that started when you were young, you know, a young adult, a child. And I think everything's been kind of building up to this. So I feel like if we don't figure out a different way to go forward, it's going to just be an explosion. It's going to be a very disruptive release of energy rather than a controlled burn, you know, a kind of a venting. It's going to be just kind of a massive thing, very disruptive. So we don't want to let that tension build. We don't want to let the pressure build up to this Tower moment, right? The higher the Tower gets, the more likely it is that some lightning is going to come and strike it down, right? The more we kind of let this thing just grow and grow and grow and build, it's just building upon itself. It's higher and higher and higher. Like there's no limit to what you can contain, right? But there is. There is a limit. And hence this destruction that we see with this. Now, this kind of destruction will be a very quick release of energy, and you know, you will feel a lot better afterwards. But is it going to cause so many destructive ripples, you know, in your life that it's not going to be worth it, you know? Unless we could find some other way to release this kind of frustration in one shot, you know, but I don't know that there is. You know, is some kind of adrenaline release going to do the trick? If you go skydiving, is that going to do it? I don't think so. I don't think so. I've never gone skydiving. I don't think I ever will. And I don't know that that is the kind of thing that will release that energy for you, because I feel like it's a frustration that we can mitigate it in the future, but we can't really go back and change everything that's already happened, right? So that pressure, that frustration, this Two of Wands is already there. It's already been established. That buildup, that pressure, that energy, that steam is already in there, right? We can work now on preventing more from accumulating, but what do we do with all of that frustration that's already there? Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Universal or World card. I think there is a part of you that feels kind of stuck, you know. With the Universal World card, it seems like a couple of things. It seems like you've accepted this position in your life. You've part of you at least, right? In some moments, you feel like this is your lot in life. This is where you exist, and this is your life. It's that kind of almost reluctant acceptance, right? And this card is also talking about, especially if we kind of look at it and think of it as talking about outer space and the universe, we're kind of lacking a direction right now, right? What happens if we destroy everything? Well, then there's nothing, right? Nothing exists. We're just drifting in space, you know? If we destroy the universe, then there's nothing left. So are we any better off? I don't know, we could look at this in a mystical sense and just say that, through figuratively destroying the universe, we're destroying ourselves too, and then who cares about any of it, right? Then we don't really exist. We've transcended this kind of energy, But even if you were to transcend it, it's still going to be there. And it still is going to affect you, at least in those parts of yourself that are still existing in this horizontal world. So that's not really a solution. It may be a way to get some perspective, and through that perspective, maybe you can learn how to deal with the past frustration, the pressure that's already been built up, and how to prevent more from accumulating. So that's one idea. The Universal World card does sometimes indicate the highest of mystical trances, union with the universe itself and the destruction of both subject and object, right? And we see that, of course, with the Eye of Shiva up here. The eye opens and the universe is destroyed. There's nothing left. Okay. So this is kind of saying, too, that once you come to this realization of how your boundaries are not being respected, how, this whole thing, opening your eyes to that, right there puts an end to it in a certain sense. Just the awareness of this is enough to change how it's going to exist in the future, right? And it also changes your relation to things in the past, because now you're able to see all these things that have happened to you in kind of a new light, What is your greatest asset right now? What is your relationship to the environment around you that you should rely on? What is it that you should really focus on that you have right now with you? There's that Sun card. We just talked about the 19th mystery of the tarot, the sun, and how you've always been told in your life to be quiet, tone it down, turn it down, dim your shine, darken your light, stop being so much, stop being too loud, all these things, right? So this is your greatest asset right now. This is what you need to fall back on, is your ability to be loud, to shine, to be confident and assertive, and to raise your voice, not turn it down, not dim your shine, brighten it up, So this is the exact opposite of what you've been told your entire life. Turn it down, be quiet, don't be so dramatic, don't be so boisterous or outgoing or loud, or don't draw attention to yourself, the exact opposite of that, right? You can do all of those things, and sometimes that might, honestly, it might threaten people, threaten the insecure people, So I think your true inner self, your true nature, this shining star that you are, this is the greatest asset that you have. This is what you need to utilize in order to really stand up for yourself, to really have firm boundaries with people, and enforce those boundaries, And at the same time, you're still loving, you're still kind, you're still generous. You're not changing who you are. I'm not telling you not to be forgiving. The cards aren't telling you to not be kind, but to be confident and self-aware enough to have borders and boundaries and to enforce them, right? And you can still be kind. You can still be nice. I think you're a very nice person. The energy that I get is someone who is so incredibly nice that people think they don't have to be nice to you, Let's see what you're kind of worried about here. I think we've already got our fears, worries, and concerns with that Tower energy. I feel like you don't want to just destroy the whole universe. I don't think you want to cause so much destruction in your life or in the lives of your family, your loved ones, the company you're in, or you know, whatever exactly is your situation. We have the Two of Swords. So we've got the Two of Wands down here, right? And this was saying that you're having these questions about your boundaries and about your assertiveness and about how you feel like you may not have the control over your own body, your own existence, your own life and livelihood, you know? And we got the Two of Swords in your fears, worries, and concerns. You're kind of fearful that nothing is going to change. So more than you're not so much afraid of destroying everything and really just kind of letting loose and just letting this pressure force its way out. That doesn't scare you. What scares you is that nothing will happen. You know? What scares you is that, like, you know, Groundhog's Day, every day is going to be like this. Every day is going to be the same. And that you're not capable of change. Well, you are capable of change. You are capable of change. But again, I want to emphasize this. It's not about changing who you are, right? It's not to change from being a forgiving person to an unforgiving person. It's not to change from being a kind-hearted person to an unkind person. No. It's about changing your relationship with your environment, changing the dynamic between your kindness, your forgiveness, and everybody who's on the other end of that, right? Everybody who is involved in your life, in your sphere of awareness, right? Everybody who's kind of within your consciousness. But you are capable of changing that. And we're just going to take those cards as they jumped out at us. So these are really, really interesting cards, really nice cards. I love these cards. First one I want to talk about is the Devil energy, because we're going to put that at the end of the Path of the Serpent, because that is the card that rules the sign of Capricorn. That is you, right? That is you really not giving up. That's you taking no losses, taking no crap from anyone, really. This is you being totally self-sufficient, relying on yourself. This is really the power behind that sun, right? This is the kind of the nuclear fusion, I guess it is. The nuclear fusion inside that star. Okay? This is what powers you. This is what drives you. I don't know what this is. I don't know. And I think this is a good question for you to ask yourself. What is it that drives you? Is it, you know, being kind? Is it being a forgiving person? Is that really what is powering your solar nature? Could be, I don't know. Maybe leave me some comments. Let me know what this devil is for you, you know. Because I feel like this is the engine that is driving you. And this is what you maybe need to reconnect with in order to, Magus energy, control your life. Manifest your life according to your will, right? To be the star that you are in the environment that you choose, that is right for you. What is your place in the universe, right? And that's what you have to be willing to go after and get. And the joke here is kind of on us, because Mercury here is the trickster, and they're saying that regardless of where you are, the grass isn't always greener over there, right? Whatever place you're in now, whatever situation you're in now, if you think that by altering your environment or changing the dynamic, changing your relationship with other people is going to make you happy, there's no guarantee. The grass is not always greener. But we have to at least try. Here's the Nine of Cups. This is happiness, right? This is the idea that the grass could be greener, but we'll never know if we don't, like, hop that fence or climb the mountain, right? Goat energy. So we have to at least try. Otherwise, we know it's not going to be anything better. Okay? So I think we have to reconnect with whatever our motivations are, whatever our will is, whatever this engine is that's driving us. I think Cake had that song, Satan is My Motor. Now, I'm not trying to bring up religion or Satanism or any of that kind of stuff, right? We're talking about devil energy, not an evil, biblical kind of devil or Satan or anything like that, okay? This is that pure energy, like I said, that nuclear fusion that powers you, okay? We have to discover what that is, rediscover it. Because if we can manifest our life closer to our heart's ideal, we have the best chance of achieving true happiness. Okay? We at least are providing ourselves, I think, our God-given right to pursue our own happiness. Right? There's no guarantee of happiness, but you at least have the ability, you have the power, you have the energy, you have the right to work toward your happiness, to climb the mountain and see if the grass is greener up there. It might be, you know? But we won't know unless we really give it a shot. Okay. Mystery card before we forget. I don't know what this is going to be. We've already had some nice major arcana energy, a lot of major arcana. We've had some good water energy. We've had some, maybe we need some more fire energy. Maybe we do. I'm thinking some kind of fire with this card. Maybe a 6 of Wands. Oh no. No. Princess of Discs. This is kind of fun because the Princess of Discs is saying that if the grass is not greener on the other side, we can make it greener. Right? This is unlimited potential. This is kind of saying that it doesn't matter your environment, it doesn't matter where you are or who you're with, you can create the life that you want. And if you are disappointed or unhappy, if you don't have this, if you don't have the pursuit at least of your happiness, then you do need to change something because it's your creation. You are the magician. You are the ringmaster of this circus. So if there is no grass or it's not very green over here, it's kind of on us and we need to do something about it. Okay. Really fun confirmation card. It makes me happy. I think this was a great reading for you. I hope that you found it maybe a little bit empowering. Maybe it just gave you a little bit of energy or of motivation to kind of to take this thing a little bit further and really look at it and really make the necessary changes in your life so that you can go after that 9 of Cups. Maybe it'll, if anything, prompt you to rediscover what this engine is for you. Okay. Capricorn, we're going to do an extended. If you want to stick around, please click on the link that's right up here. And, of course, you can have access to all of the extended readings, right, for every sign. This was your weekly reading, April 9th through 15th on Dove and Serpent Tarot.